Hello and welcome to TCS Consulting. My name is Marisa Bludorn. I am the founder and CEO of TCS Consulting, which is an organizational and leadership development platform and consulting company. I'm so excited. It's been a minute since we've been live. Now, we've been playing some replays because we've just been growing. We've been growing and growing and growing, and we continue to do so over the years. If you're familiar with TCS, we're also a partner in partnership and in total alignment with Own It Magazine and Publishing. And so Own It has been growing. Own It has grown to the point where we have our own university, which is called Own It X, International Christian Leadership University. And we've just been growing. So now with that growth, we are so excited to be having with us our new host. So you won't be seeing me seeing the show every once in a while. You know, the CEO founders always got to do a cameo and come in and say a little something to our audience. However, I'm going to take backstage, which I love. And these two women, these two phenomenal women, are going to be taking center stage and owning it. Without further ado, I'm going to let them tell you who they are. Taking center stage and owning it is Dr. Sovereign Leadership Architect Brown. We have Dr. Robin Hughes of our Hughes and Associates, and she's going to be taking center stage and owning it. They're going to be hosting the show moving forward. Sometimes they're going to be doing that together, and sometimes they're going to be doing that independently, having and hosting and interviewing some of our phenomenal guests. And so I'm going to let Dr. Brown just introduce yourself. You've been here. Dr. Hughes has been here, but we're going to formally, we're setting the stage, new show, new direction, so to speak. So we're going to let you reintroduce yourself because if they've been watching, they already know who you are. So go right ahead. And then Dr. Hughes, you just piggyback right on after her.
Greetings. Thank you so much. I will say that, yes, I have missed our Thursdays. Dr. Robin, myself, and yourself, Dr. Marisa, with others, TCS Consulting and our leadership and development conversations have been so fabulous. But I love that we are moving kind of with the paradigm shift because the world is changing. So as Dr. Marisa, thank you so much. I am Dr. Jacqueline Brown, and I am the Sovereign Leadership Architect. Well, what does that mean? That means that it's transformational strategist, and that crosses ministry leadership. I am a retired C-suite technology executive. What makes what I bring to the table unique? Well, internal architecture behind the leadership, behavior, emotional regulation, and human transformation. I teach sovereign self-governance as the foundation of human congruence, leadership integrity, spiritual maturity, because we are, as stated, Own It X International Christian University, and just structurally sound living. I believe my work integrates and intersects with neuroscience because we can't really separate what's going on in our brain, faith, behavioral transformation, and executive leadership with that human governance to help people understand that true leadership is not just about influence or success. It is about the ability to govern who? Ourselves, yourself, myself. And that's a responsibility, especially when we're operating under these sort of pressure times. Because no organization, ministry, business, or relationship will ever rise beyond the internal condition of the people leading it. Thank you so much.
Awesome. You got that right.
Yeah, that is so true. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us. And I'm super excited about the new shift that we're making. TCS has been around for a long time. I want to say, I know it's been over 12 years that we've been doing this.
Yes.
I remember when we first started out. So super excited about that. I'm Dr. Robin R. Hughes. I'm the CEO of R. Hughes and Associates. And we actually have individual solution, business solution, and HR solution, which encompasses all of the leadership development, organizational development, even going in looking at business growth and looking at MBE and WBE certification readiness and doing process improvements. When you're talking about leadership, you have to lead by example. You cannot expect to sit. I always say that a true leader is someone that shows up all the time for their people, and no one has to be watching them. If you're that type of person looking for attention or just want to take on those tasks or roles or projects that have visibility, you may not be at the right place at that point. That means you have some growing to do as a leader, because a leader doesn't do that. Guess what? Just like Dr. Marissa is doing, she is going to end up going into the background, and she's letting her other people come in and start doing things. And she's always done this. It's always been, we've always talked about that from her heart. So that's something she's always done. Leadership development, organizational behavior. I can't say enough about it. I've been doing this for decades. I'm actually a professor in HR for a couple of universities in industrial and organizational psychology. So I get a chance to go in. I'm a SME and I develop the curriculum and look forward to us going in, doing some things with the university. Super excited about that, to be able to share even more of our knowledge and be able to train people and develop people, because that's what it's all about. We want everyone to be able to reach their full potential.
Yes.
And leaders, like I said, there's a difference in leaders and managers. Some people can lead, but if you're not lifting your people up, if you're not trying to train that person and not be worried or intimidated that they're going to take your job and you're getting ready, succession planning, getting them ready to take over your position. So when your time comes to move and be promoted, they can actually move into your role and they're ready to go. And you're not intimidated at all. You can't do that. You need, again, to look at your leadership skills and do some more training, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we got to make sure that, people are aware of that. Just because you can manage processes does not mean you can manage people.
Amen.
So yes, we'll be talking about, I like to say, some of the HR nightmares where we talk about, real life experiences with these so-called leaders that are in position. And some of them have the dark triad traits, which is amazing that they can actually get in there and get these positions and cause all this chaos. That's what ruins companies' cultures.
Yes.
That's something I go into organizations and do all the time. And it's because of what happens from the top down. If you have a toxic leader or toxic leadership, everybody's going to follow suit.
Right.
And as we always say too, you don't have to have a title. A title doesn't make you a leader.
No, it doesn't.
A title doesn't earn you respect.
No.
People are always going to remember how you treated them. And you always need to treat people kind, because it doesn't take anything to do that.
No.
And I'm going to hand it back over to you, Dr. Blue Dorn.
Oh, wow. You've hit on so many different areas, which has always been my heartbeat, and it has birthed TCS. So TCS began before Own It, but Own It took over and it just ran on its own, because TCS was me just working with individuals and finding many years ago, I think it was back in when I first joined even Facebook. This is when MySpace was phasing out and Facebook was starting to take over, and adults were getting onto Facebook. And I just saw a lot of identity crisis, right? And so as a result, it was troublesome for me, who is a person who naturally has confidence. I'm naturally a confident individual. And to see people struggle with identity issues, and to understand how leadership, whether you have a formal title, and you've always heard me speak about it, People walk around unconscious to leadership, right? They are unconscious because we always associate the behaviors, the influence and impact of leadership with a designated formal title. From childhood, from birth, all the way up to, ascending or descending, whichever, we should be cultivating the concept, the ideology, and reality of leadership. Leadership first starting with self, and perfecting leadership and mastering leadership of self so that you are now able to navigate and lead others. Why? Because whether you have a title or not, if you're a mom, you're a leader. If you're a dad, you're a leader. If you're a husband, you're a leader. If you're a wife, you're a leader. If you are a cheerleading captain, you're a leader. If you are, you are the go-to among your peers, whatever age that is, whether it's kindergarten, because I remember my mom saying I was leading revolutions as a kindergartner, and I'm not surprised because whenever I see something wrong, I'm always the quick one to say, whoa, this is something wrong here, and we need to address it. And so if you are one that people go to for advice, for a safe space, they don't even want you to say anything to them, a safe space, you are a leader. And because that's not our normal conversation, that terminology associated with a regular everyday person, we miss out on the influence, the impact, the revolution that can come from cultivating that concept in just an everyday person. And that's what we need to start doing. We need to start really awakening people to being intentional about everything, and not to an extreme or something that's unnatural, but just naturally. So if I have a plant, I'm intentional. I want that plant to grow. I want it, wherever that plant is going to be, I want it to make the space look nicer, right? I want that plant to add to it. So when you think about being conscious of your leadership, you want it to add to something. You want it to intentionally beautify, improve, right? Something that it's influencing. And so we fail to talk about leadership in that capacity of ownership. We fail to talk about succession planning as a normal process of maintaining and sustainability, right? Because succession planning is sustainability, right? But we don't do that. We take things and we take terminologies in organizations and we push them way up at the top. An organization shouldn't do that. If a concept, a methodology, a system, or a process works at a high level, then you know that your workforce is a huge, major impact on your overall performance, right? Then you want the workforce to have that mindset, that concept, that ideology, that each one teach one so that each one can reach one, right? And we will make a difference. And you talked about, and you tapped into Dr. Hughes in regards to culture. When you go to take a job, when do we hear about companies having a culture? No, you have to be in a certain circle or a certain room in order to hear that kind of language. And it doesn't even matter what level you're at. You could be at a high level, but if they're not, if that room is not familiar that companies have personalities, if they're not familiar that companies have cultures, right? They have norms, right? And that leaders reinforce that or they address it, right? So if a culture is wrong, it is the leadership's responsibility to say, oh, we're in error, we're going the wrong direction, and let's make some behavioral changes so that we change concepts, we change perceptions, and we change language, how we're talking, right? Because if we want change to happen, we have to change the content of our conversations and the direction of a conversation. So I believe that this is so important, and that's what that's where take center stage and own it, right? It was take center stage first. It's your life, take center stage, right? On the runway of your life, because we first started off with that red carpet. then it was like, it just didn't feel like it was complete, right? I just kept saying, take center stage, take center stage. And then it clicked to me, no, you got to take center stage and own it, right? Because when you own it, you're not wrestling with it. You're not toying with it. You're resting in it. And when you're resting in something, you are at your peak performance level. Why? Because you're not in anxiety. You're not in identity crisis. You can fully master and fully show up. And you can take center stage on the runway of your life and you can own it. That catwalk, you can master it because you're resting and you can focus on having fun but being intentional, having fun, but letting them know you ain't come to play, right? You can do all of that when you own it and you rest in it and you own who you are and you're intentional with your leadership and you're showing up in that way. And leadership, like I said, and like we've all been saying it, it's on the individual level. It's how are you taking it seriously? And I love Beyonce's song, I Was Here.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to know that I was here. And how will they know that I was here? How I affected the world. And don't we all want that? We don't want to just show up and then at the end realize like, oh my God, could have did what? And now what? So this is so important. And so that folks understand that TCS and Own It is about self-awareness. And it's just knowing yourself. And the only way that you do that is in solitude. It's not in being busy. Don't keep putting so many people and things around you that you fail to get to know who you are. Because all the noise is a distraction. But when you are solo, and you have to learn how to be solo in your, if you have small children and you have a husband or you have family that's around you, you got to get to a place where there's no excuse, right? Because excuses kill time. It absorbs time, it robs you of time, and the next thing you know, you don't have any time left, right? So you cannot have excuses. You have to kill the excuses, and you have to figure out a way to have that solitude, that solid time to yourself, so that you can really know who you are, what makes you tick, what ticks you off, what do you like, what do you not like. Kill the noise, because killing the noise helps you to what? Rest. When you have noise around, it's anxious. You get anxious. It's like, oh my God, everybody everywhere. But when you're quiet, you can come back after you've restored yourself, reflected, you adjusted. You can come back so much more powerful, so much more with vision and intent, than constantly having the noise. You're escaping yourself. That's all you're doing is you're escaping yourself. And then sometimes we can't talk. When you're by yourself, just be quiet. I always say, cállate la boca. Shut your mouth. Be quiet. Meditation is good because it helps you to, you got to debrief all of that stuff. You got to debrief it so that you can take it away. And that's what Dr. Brown talks about when she's saying you have to do the inner work. And that's the hardest part because we run from ourselves. We are so afraid of finding out the truth about ourselves that we will avoid ourselves at all costs. That's why you put people around. That's why you busy, like you, Martha, busy about many things. But Mary got the needful thing. If you get the needful thing, all of everything else will just simply align. It won't be perfect, but it will align. And that's what this hard work is really about. And I love it that you guys are going to give them, and this is what Dr. Brown always says, your brilliance, because you're going to be able to, without me being on, you're going to be able to just share and allow the audience, to allow our subscribers to get in there and really, really see what you're all about, how you work with them, how they can work with you. And then you're going to highlight some fabulous and amazing people and interviewing them, and things like that. And so I'm really excited and I'm honored to have both of you women who have been with me for years. So folks, I'm going to get ready to digress because I'm going to let these ladies close us out. Own It, TC, we've had partners for years. My God, we We have been together for years. So this is not where we're coming in and I don't know Dr. Brown. I've been to Dr. Brown's house. Her husband make sure that every time I stay there, there's coffee, cinnamon sticks, and other good treats there in the morning for me. I am spoiled at the Browns' house. Do you understand me? Dr. Hughes, that is my go-to woman. She's ride or die. She got your back. And so with that being said, I am putting you in very good hands when I say that I am allowing them. And what's happening in the background is us expanding. And as a CEO and as a founder, I have to do that foundational work that supports our expansion. And that's pretty much what this is. And at the same token, I get an opportunity to allow you to experience what I experience with these women on a regular basis. And so I'm going to go the opposite direction. And I'm going to say, Dr. Hughes, just share as we close out, share what the audience can expect in the coming months from you and what you do, our Hughes and Associates, and also too how they can connect with you directly to get information. And these, so that you, audience, so that you know, these interviews that they're going to be doing and these one-to-ones and things like that, they will be in the Own It magazine video form and transcript so that you're able to you can able to follow it, you are able to download it so that you can follow them directly, because they're going to be giving you nuggets over the coming months that you're not going to want to not have access to if you are serious about growing and expanding and leveling up. And so, Dr. Hughes?
Yes, there's always a lot of stuff going on with all of us, including things we're doing with the university. I mean, I'm excited about all of it. I will actually be, I have an ebook that's out. Also, you can get anything on MBE certification, WBE certification. We have to make sure that we are taking advantage of getting that money off the table. I am very, very big about not leaving money on the table. I have 2 anthologies that I was in that talked about that. I'm going to actually end up posting those online. Make sure you're following me on TikTok. I will end up getting that information. If you go to my website at www.rhughesandassociates, all one word.com, you will find the links to all of my social media pages. Make sure you like, follow, comment, and share, because I talk about a lot of different stuff. I go into the HR solutions. So we'll talk about different things you can do from that point for small businesses, medium businesses, business solutions. When you get into the leadership management, diversity, supplier, and that's major, which goes along with the MBE certification, strategic planning, also for individual solutions, that certification readiness, the leadership development. You're looking at everything that can actually elevate you. It is so important to make sure you have an open mindset.
Yes.
You must be self-aware and make sure that, you know, in the ebook that I did, it is talking about making a decision whether to stay, fix, or quit. And I call it the decision guide. It's not always about quitting the job. It's taking a real look at what's going on. And the big thing is you have to be honest. So many people do this. And when you're looking at reflections, if you really want to know your real score in the assessment, you must be honest. You must be vulnerable. That's one of the things that we know, and we'll get out there and we share things. And some people look at us like we're crazy because it's like, why are you sharing that?
Yeah.
God gave us these lessons for us to share. We are not supposed to hoard information. We're not supposed to hoard knowledge. We should be not be intimidated. We should be able to help. And I've always been like that. Love it. People say, how can you turn around and tell somebody to do this? And this is what you were doing. This will take away. No, it doesn't take away from me. There's enough out there for everyone. Stop being greedy. Stop being greedy. Share.
Yes. Share.
Quit blaming other people for your shortcomings when you don't show up, and own it.
Yeah.
Because all that is, you talked about excuses. One of my favorite quotes, excuses are tools of incompetence which build monuments of nothing.
Mhm.
And I use it all the time. And I tell people, sometimes it's hard for me to explain. I'm not giving you it because I look at things and I say, to me, that sounds like an excuse, but I do need to explain. But then I'll turn around and explain to people. It's hard for me to do that because, again, excuses are tools of incompetence which build monuments of nothing. So, and I'm big on work in silence and let success make your noise.
Amen.
You don't have to go out there and try to belittle someone else or make someone else feel small or think you're better than others at the end of the day. So, the only thing I can say is doing a lot of things, looking forward to own it X, university and being School of Organizational Behavior and doing some of the other stuff and Board of Regents. So working with the president and the chancellor. We are going to do this, lady.
Amen. Amen.
We're going to do it big.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is getting ready to be amazing. Dr. Brown.
I want to say this piece first. We can come together, and if today, I want people to take away that we are 3 women that have come together, have been together, and are now moving on to the next dimension and consistently looking for, okay, we're moving to the next dimension and the next dimension. Yet we have our own companies that we found. We have our own businesses, but there is power when we bring all of those gifts and those talents together. And that's something that I hope that people don't minimize, because it disturbs me deeply when I hear people say, oh, well, women can't work together and you can't be with these women, or this is going to happen, or that's going to happen. And I want them to see examples of how we bring all of our genius, our talents, our gifting, and our brilliance. We bring all of that together. And then it gets integrated and it gets aligned, because you can have a specialty and you can bring that specialty to the table. Yep. And you can bring it in alignment with everything else. And now you are delivering something super powerful to the world at large. Amen. And that is just you just the impact that you can have. I like I said, we are individuals and we have other individual goals that we're working on, but there is something very powerful. And you may not be able to align with everything and everyone, but I encourage you to align with what is your gifting and where you can contribute to make a larger impact. Because what you're going to see is Robin and I are going to have those really deep conversations, and we want you to take things away that are going to help you to elevate to your next dimension. And what you'll hear me talk a lot about, you're going to hear me use the word sovereign leadership architect. You're going to hear me talk about sovereignty a lot. You're going to hear me differentiate sovereignty outside of political terms, supreme authority or self super ruling. And what you're going to hear is more cultural conversations around sovereignty, because sovereignty can refer to autonomy, independence, personal freedom, or the right for self-governance, self-determination. When Dr. Marisa talked about being intentional. And you're going to hear huge integrations around spiritual environments, because some interpret sovereignty as only divine authority. That's all that is. While others may associate it with, well, that means power, that means controlling, or it means separation. But in the work that I do and what you can expect to hear me discussing with Dr. Robin is sovereignty is not about controlling other people, superiority, isolation, or even domination. I'm referring to sovereign self governance, leadership, that leadership development that seems to be drifting away. So, sovereignty within the framework is just the ability to consciously steward your thoughts, emotions, behaviors, decisions, reactions, values, and leadership with maturity and responsibility and accountability. Now, that's a capacity that we really want to embody in this day and time, because we're seeing, and it could be unconsciously, but we're seeing leadership driven by fear,
Mm.
trauma, ego, insecurity, and impulse. Now, if you disagree with that, you're not on the same planet that the three of us are. Because I know my sisters right here, I know they are seeing leadership driven in those areas. And what we have to do is we've got to get back to developing the internal authority first,
Mm-hmm.
leading with congruence, integrity, and emotional regulation, and not separating the spiritual and the neuroscience piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
All of this sort of breaking things into silos. It's about today, the paradigm shift is integration, bringing the spiritual awareness, the structural living, the what's driving the brain, but also what's controlling the heart, and
Mm-hmm.
bringing that together. That makes for powerful leadership elevation and development. And so I'm excited that we're going to be like just bringing you all of that in a bag of chips.
Yeah, that sounds amazing, and it, believe it or not, it's really what we need, and it's as basic as maturity, right? So a lot of what you're talking about is just grounded maturity, and being open and wise, and we've really moved away from that as a society,
Yes.
and that's where all of the anxiety, and some of the mental health is coming from, is because of a lack of control of boundaries, right? So with all social media and things like that. And so having that heightened level of self awareness, um, will help and influence the ability to enforce those healthy boundaries that will allow for you the space to expand and grow, with great intent. And we can, you already know, ladies, we can go on for days because this is just our element. We love it because we are liberated from it. And sovereignty is freedom. That's
Yes.
what sovereignty is. If
Yes.
somebody get clank down, I don't know what definition they've been watching, reading, but sovereignty is liberation on such a high level that, that just giving you the liberty to be authentic, right? So again, I'm gonna digress because we can go dive right back in, and you know how we are. We'll be here an hour. So I just want to say, listen, Dr. Brown, Jacqueline Brown, and Robin R. Hughes of Hughes and R. Hughes and Associates, they are going to be taking center stage and owning it. And I feel so good because I am the strategist and the visionary. I am the one who when I go in the background, things is getting ready to pop off and happen. And so I'm excited and so thankful to God that he would allow me to have these ladies in my life and build these relationships, that I can trust them enough with the TCS consulting platform to just lead and take charge as I do what I believe God has called me to do in the background and continue to allow us to expand and to create opportunities for people who really, really want to come out of the conventional way of doing things and take center stage and own it, take authority over where they're going, whether it's in your life, whether it's in a career or in a business. That's what we do here at TCS Consulting, helping you to have a strategy that may not be the norm. You may not be able to take the normal path to elevate, to get promotions. Well, we don't need the normal path because we've come up with ways, strategies that you can navigate around all of that and still reach your successful goals. So we love you. Stay tuned every Thursday at 10 a.m. These ladies will be taking center stage and owning on TCS Consulting. It is a leadership and organizational development platform. We're out.